What is up there, everybody? RedRiverAviaiton here with yet another video. Today we are going to be covering a topic that I did in a little skit back in April. It's one of my most popular videos I ever did. It was an April Fool's joke video, but I really enjoyed it. But for now, we are actually doing a serious video as part of RedRiverAviaiton's great giveaway. So how you do this giveaway is you just make a video on which company you think is better, NG Malls or Gemini Jets. And you submit it to him, and I'll be doing that. And this is going to be a really good video, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you for watching, and let's get started with this one right here. Also, please go check out his giveaway and his channel. Both will be linked below in the description, as well as I might put cards up top if I'm able to do that in editing. But anyway, let's get started here with who I think is the best company. So, we're going to get started with some facts about each company. Gemini Jets was founded in 1998 as a die-cast model airplane company. For most of us, they were probably the very first model airplane company we heard of, other than maybe like Darren Toys, but like the first like real collectible model aircraft company. And I remember when I was a kid, 9 years ago, I first heard about Gemini Jets, and I remember scrolling through Amazon.com, looking at the planes for sale, and thinking it was the coolest thing ever. But being like, well, I really can't afford this at the time, whatever. Maybe I'll be able to do it a few years later. And I did. 2 years later, I started collecting model airplanes. And I got first Gemini Jets in 2014, which is so awesome. And for me, it was really the company that started me on my journey. And I think for most of you guys, that is the same case. I don't know of anyone who got an NG model as their first model yet. Now, of course, that may change down in the future. But for now, pretty much everybody watching here probably had their first die-cast model airplane as a Gemini Jets model. So, NG Models is a much newer company, started I believe in 2017, and they create die-cast model aircraft, starting with the Boeing 757 mold, and they've been slowly adding new molds ever since. Gemini Jets and NG Models are both producers of high-quality die-cast model aircraft, and they've been slowly raising their prices over time. NG Models has been as well a little bit. And they are both the two premier brands right now in the 1/400 scale die-cast space. Gemini Jets is also one of the premier brands in the 1/200 scale space. NG Models, they're kind of in there, but they're not really one of the prestigious brands. 1/200 scale, the real prestigious brands are Gemini Jets, JC Wings, In-Flight 200. Those are the top three, I'd say. And then really in 1/400 is just two brands now, Gemini Jets, NG Models. Phoenix Models seems to be kind of shaky. JC Wings is also pretty good. And there's some other brands like L Classics, Aviation 400 and such, but those are a bit harder to get. We're just covering NG Models and Gemini Jets. With that kind of history behind, we will need to talk about the companies and decide which one is better. So if you go on the Gemini Jets website here, it looks pretty professional. Nothing too shocking here. They basically have their homepage and such with all the kind of stuff. Interesting, they're making the Gulfstream here, the one that I'm going to get from NG Models instead. But something you should know about this website is it is getting kind of dated, as you can tell. It very much looks like it came out of the late 90s or early 2000s. I would really like them to update this and make it nicer. However, despite those issues, it is a really professionally and well put together website. You can go to the new releases, which is conveniently located here. You can see what's new. They have a database, they have a retailers list, and they have a very rapidly expanding retail list, so that's really good. So with that being said, let's now go over and see what NG Models has to offer. In comparison, when we go to the NG Models website, you can see it's nice and clean and modern. However, I do have some issues with it, and that is that it is very obviously based on a template. You can see the header right up here, you can see your nav bar here, and then you can see some blocks made here are very obviously made from template like Squarespace, something like that. Database is pretty user friendly. We put in Southwest and just click go, and then we can take a look at what models they've made for Southwest. So database works. They have distributors, retailers. I'm not exactly sure what the difference between a distributor and retailer is. They have that, and then they have the contact us page. So yeah, that works, but it's still not as good of a website overall as Gemini Jets because they give the information concisely and clearly, and it's very easy to understand. Here, there's really, frankly, information lacking from this website. So that's my opinion there. And then we're moving on to some other parts about NG models and Gemini jets. So packaging is one of the big deals that people complain about with Gemini jets. A lot of people say it's boring, simple. However, as a graphic designer, I happen to know that Gemini jets packaging is actually pretty good. And the reason for that is they have a uniform design. And you know what a Gemini jets model is from the box. You just know it because their boxes are a solid design. You know what they look like. So it might be boring, it might be the same thing, but you know what you're looking at. It is pretty solid design for a box in my opinion. NG models, they've done a much more artsy design, and they have their own uniform design pattern as well, but it's a little bit different. However, I have liked some things they've done. For example, the two Delta A321s I have, they actually have the box design where the widget goes across both the regular livery and the thank you livery box, so it's kind of like you buy the two as a set. It's kind of the idea, which is really cool. So that's a really cool design. And they have much more interesting designs than Gemini jets, but their design is a little less uniform. It is much more eye-catching, so we'll give them that. We're going to go on to quality, and obviously the NG models quality overall is better than Gemini jets. Believe it or not, back in the olden days when I started collecting, Gemini jets was the gold standard. Obviously that has changed. Starting about 2015, the quality went way down very quickly, and it's no longer that great. NG models is still very good. However, they do have some issues, particularly with the A321 mold. But to me, NG models are still better on quality overall. The models are much more detailed. Their attention to detail is better on NG models. However, with that being said, I actually think Gemini jets is the better brand, and I'm going to actually tell you why. So we've already gone over some reasons, but I just have some very specific reasons right here. First off, Gemini jets is the reason why NG models exist. Let's be real, if it wasn't for Gemini jets, probably none of us here would be collecting model aircraft. Gemini jets is, for most of us, the reason why we got into collecting. We saw somebody on YouTube have their model airport. For me, Gemini jets 333 was the guy. I know everybody has their own person, or maybe you are shopping and you just randomly found Gemini jets for sale on Amazon or somewhere, and you're like, that is cool, I want to have some of those. And for everybody, they have their reason, but almost always it has something to do with Gemini jets. And so Gemini jets is really the reason why most of us are in the hobby. And if it wasn't for us getting into the hobby from that company, NG models wouldn't have a customer base to basically get customers from and to take customers away from Gemini jets. The second one is the large selection of models that Gemini jets has. They've been around for 20 years. They have a mold of pretty much every commercial airliner ever made, as far as I can tell. Particularly in the last 50 years, they have everything, and they made tons of aircraft. They just have a giant selection, and their partner company JC Wings has even more. So if you need something, Gemini jets JC Wings group, they have everything. NG models, however, is still a new company, and they only have a few molds. They have the 752, they have the 738, the A321, the ARJ21-700. They have the 787-9, A330-200, A330-300. They have the 747 SP, and those are the only ones I can think of right now. They might have a couple others I missed, but they don't have many, versus Gemini jets has maybe like 30 molds, and that's just in 140, and they have another 30 molds in 1 to 200. So Gemini jets has a much larger selection of models. Third reason, Gemini jets prices are better. Now if you take a look at the MSRPs, the two model companies are very similar. However, Gemini jets for a long time has had this deal where retailers sell the models at a 20% discount, which is much better than NG models retailer discount. NG models has about 5% retailer discount, which isn't that good compared to Gemini jets, which in general, if you look at Gemini jets model versus NG models, it's going to be about $10 cheaper, and that $10 adds up a lot when you buy a lot of models, and so that is another reason why. Fourthly, Gemini jets is much more consistent with their model delivery schedule. So when the Gemini jets model comes out, the new releases come out, you know that model is going to ship within 4 to 5 weeks of its announcement. Pretty much guaranteed. There's only been a few cases where that wasn't the case, but almost always they ship within 4 to 5 weeks of you making the order, and it's at your house, or maybe it's an in-stock model you get right away. But anyway, we'll talk about pre-orders. NG models you never know with them. Usually they will arrive within the same 4 to 5 week time period, but you could end up having them come quicker. For example, my September releases came within, like, I want to say less than 3 weeks. That was a really short release schedule, not so what's up with that. Sometimes you have to wait 2 months for a model. Sometimes models like Saturn released and you have to wait until it's actually on the market and at retailers to buy it. Sometimes NG models you have to wait a year for them. I know that's common with JC wings, but NG models I would expect better from them. And then sometimes they just don't deliver a model at all because they've had this issue, particularly in 2019, where a lot of people want to buy models and they had more orders than they could deliver models, and that's when they started doing a thing where they do these re-releases, which is a great idea. However, the problem is some people don't get models, and so you end up having to go get a refund or something like that. It's really annoying. So NG models really needs to figure that one out. They need to get more consistent. I think they will. I hope they will. But right now, Gemini Jets is the consistent company. You know if you buy the product, you're going to get it in X amount of time. So that is another thing. And kind of partnering back on my first point, which was Gemini Jets is the reason NG models existed. If it wasn't for the downfall of Gemini Jets, NG models probably would not have had a prime market that was looking for a better model company. I do actually think NG models is overall the better company. However, at this point, Gemini Jets is still the more important company, if that makes sense. NG models makes the higher quality models, but they don't necessarily make the models you're looking for. They don't have as many models available. They have some quality issues. They have shipping delays. They're not as polished of a brand as Gemini Jets is. You know what to expect from Gemini Jets, whether that's good or bad. And you know that when you order your model from Gemini Jets, it's going to arrive, and you know approximately what to expect from it. So that is why, for now, I'm going to say Gemini Jets is actually the better brand over NG models. This wasn't actually the conclusion I was expecting to come to when I was working on making this video, but as I was producing the content for the video, thinking of how I was going to make this, do the script and such, this is the conclusion I came to. So I think Gemini Jets is better than NG models according to this video. Before we end the video, I just wanted to say thank you to Red River Aviation for this amazing competition. I hope I win. If I do win, of the 3 models you have available, I would really like to win the Florida 1 model. That would be perfect for my Southwest collection, and it would help me fill out the state boards because I'm trying to get all 12 state boards, eventually photograph them and have models of them as well. So that would be great. I'll be sharing this around on my social medias as well, and also as the last extra credit point for the competition, my favorite aircraft is a 3-way tie between the Boeing 737-200, the Gulfstream G550, and the Boeing 787, probably I'd say the Dash 9, but I like all the 787s. That is it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of the day. God bless you.